Another primeval male specialization is a tendency to display powerful group allegiance. Male hunting parties needed this quality, and today its legacy sometimes surfaces in extremely odd behavior. Assemble men in a small group with a common aim, and they can be made to do almost anything. Even parade down a public street covered from head to toe in silver paint, like these students taking part in a political rally. This is the kind of activity that has little appeal for women. A female group would first want to discuss it at length and would then no doubt wisely decide against it. The masculine urge to belong to a special group means that given firm leadership, men are easier to train than women. They can even be made to do quite preposterous things, such as eating their meals with bananas balanced on their heads.
Everybody, banana on your head. Move! Commence! Eating!
At this level, male compliance is harmless enough, but sadly, it's this same acceptance of group orders that can lead to the horrors of warfare. War is more the result of male group cooperation than of male aggression. The soldier kills more to conform and to support his buddies than because of his personal hatred for the enemy. This quality of group obedience and the acceptance of punishment is both a great masculine strength and an even greater masculine weakness.
Right, everybody, I will give you 10 counts to consume your...
In case you wondered, these are trainee security guards in a Filipino shopping centre. The bananas on their heads are supposedly to keep their backs straight, but perhaps more importantly, to prove that they'll do almost anything if given a specific order. In general, males cooperate in groups by forming a clear line of command and a strict hierarchy, while females are far more egalitarian. Studies of the human brain have confirmed that men and women do indeed think differently. They don't always use the same thought processes. Brain scans reveal that different parts of the male and female brain are used when performing the same task.
You right in there? We're just about to start scanning.
Here, a male is about to be given verbal tests in which he'll have to identify word sounds. The precise nature of the tests isn't important. What is important is that they're verbal tests and will activate the part of his brain that's involved in solving verbal problems. The active parts of his brain show up in yellow and red. It's immediately clear that he's only using one side of his brain. It's the left hemisphere that's active in the frontal region. Now, what happens when the test is repeated with a woman? Which parts of her brain will be activated when she undertakes an identical verbal task? Clearly, her brain is working in a very different way. Both hemispheres show bright patches. So where language is concerned, a woman uses her right hemisphere as well as her left. In men, the right hemisphere is reserved more for dealing with spatial problems. This helps to explain why women are generally better at verbal communication and why men are better at visual spatial tasks. The superior verbal abilities of the human female reveal themselves at an early age. Female infants babble more than male infants, and young girls use two-word sentences earlier and have larger vocabularies than boys of the same age. At school, girls beat boys at spelling and punctuation and are much better at remembering the details of a story. All of this is no doubt part of the primeval specialization of the human female as a caring, communicative mother. The love of some animals, such as horses, shows a dramatic increase in girls just as they're about to reach puberty. And this is something that doesn't happen with boys. careful investigation revealed that at its peak, just before the teenage phase, the love of horses rises to become 3 times stronger in girls compared with boys. This suggests a difference in the psychology of young girls, with a greater emphasis both on caring and on an attachment to a larger, more powerful companion. It could be argued that the horses, by virtue of their muscular strength, represent a male element in the lives of the soon-to-be sexually active young women. Turning to the subject of sense organs, recent experiments have proved that there's a slight difference in sensory ability between men and women. For instance, women have a better sense of smell. In evolutionary terms, this probably has to do with the fact that women are more finely tuned to the personal fragrance of their babies, a specialization which makes them more sensitive mothers. There's only a slight difference in ability, but it's a significant one, and in certain professions it ought to be quite important.
Ah, ça va donner.
Since wine tasting is in reality more a matter of smelling than tasting, it follows that this might be an area where women are more sensitive than men. Certainly these particular women at the Chateau Violet in the south of France appear to be very finely tuned to their work and run their own vineyard. But just how typical are they? How many women are employed in the wine industry today?
Ça va, il est bien doux et pas acide. Hein? Bon, c'est bon.
Here in the south of France, where the production of fine wines is a way of life, you might expect to find that all the great wine experts, the people who sniff the delicate fragrance of the new wine to test its quality, you'd expect them all to be women, because after all, women have a better sense of smell. And yet, the wine trade is still dominated by male noses, as they're called. Why should this be? Well, you have to turn the clock right back to find the answer, because in medieval times it was believed that if a woman entered a wine cellar, she would turn all the wine sour, that her very presence there would make the wine go bad, and so women were forbidden to go into wine cellars of this kind. Even today, in a few of the wine cellars, that is still the case. So it remains very much a male-dominated activity. Perhaps in the future, science will defeat superstition, and women will at last find their true place in this age-old profession. A well-known way in which the sexes differ is that women live longer than men. In the Western world, the average is about 7 years. Now, nothing could symbolize this difference better than the event that's about to take place in the building behind me. This is the town hall in Arles, in the south of France, where this afternoon the oldest person in the world, in fact the oldest person, as far as we know, who's ever lived in the history of the human species, is going to celebrate her 121st birthday.
L'Arlésienne par excellence, aux côtés de la Reine d'Arles.
Madame Jeanne Calment was born here in 1875, and her life spans the whole history of our modern world. When asked the secret of her long life, she explained, "I keep calm. That's why I'm called Calment." She wasn't persuaded to give up drinking port and smoking until she was 117. Her forceful personality has survived the passage of time, and her memory remains clear.